Welcome to edsguitarlessons.com. We're going to do a two-series segment here on soloing using modes and minor pentatonics. Of course, modes are major type ideas with a major third, and the minor pentatonics have a minor third. The majors have 7 notes, the minor pentatonic has 5. And so we're going to mix and match those. That's what a lot of great guitarists do, like Satriani and Vai and those guys. They mix and match both minor pentatonic and major ideas to get some of those cool phrasings and motifs, I guess, if you want to call them, little riffs that they come up with, melody lines, is by mixing both major and minor. So we're going to be we're talking about the key of E minor, which is the relative minor of G major. So the relative minor means it's the 6th position from any key. So A, B, C, D, F, G, A, B, C, D, E minor. So you go 6 notes from any major key, in any major key, 6 notes away is the relative minor. And so you can use that relative minor to play in a major key and vice versa. And that's what we're going to do, is combine the two. So we'll talk about it in the key of E minor or G major, however you want to look at it, okay? And so G major is found on the 3rd fret, okay? And I'll just play the one of the ways that you can do it. There's a longer fingered version. Okay, but I'm going to do the short finger version because I got short fingers. Okay. All right. So the major scale is Do Re Mi, the Do Re Mi scale. We're going to start on G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. Of course, you can play it twice. That's an octave. G to G, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. So you can do it twice. There's enough notes there to do it. You can do it down once. A lot of ways you can do the major scale, okay, or any scale, either across the strings or down the neck. So basically what the modes are, we're going to mix and match minor and major major modes and minor pentatonics. The modes are basically the major scale starting on the next sequence of each note of the major scale. So with the G major is also called Ionian. When we're talking modes, it's called major or Ionian, Greek, okay? So from the Ionian we get the Do Re Mi. Okay, the next mode, that's the first mode, is the major. The next mode is Dorian, and it starts on the A note of the same scale, same pattern. So you just go A to A and you have Dorian. The next mode is Phrygian, and it starts on the next note in sequence, which is B. So we go to A, G, A, B. So we go B to B, and we got the Phrygian. And so on. So for the 7 modes, that's how you get them. You use the major scale and just do each, and then each mode is the next sequence, sequential note from the major scale. So you got A Dorian, B Phrygian, C excuse me, Lydian, D Mixolydian, E Aeolian, F sharp diminished scale, and then you're back to G again. That's the modes. That's how they work. So what we do to mix and match is basically we take the, we can play each one of those modes either in place here, in one position. We end up going up the neck as we run out of space here. But what we end up doing is we can do the modes, in different sections this way as well. And they each have a pattern. So this is the major scale. The Dorian starts on the next note, which is A. Okay, and here's the Dorian mode. Then we can resolve it on G if we want. Okay. The next one's Phrygian. We started on B. Each of these modes have their own distinct sound and flavor, as if they're played by themselves using the chord that they start on, like a G minor. B minor is the third chord in the G major scale. And so it works when you play a B minor, that's in the key of G major or E minor, and play the B, you're playing the major scale starting on the B note, going from B to B. Then you have, you definitely get a Spanish flavor from that particular scale, but it's the major scale just starting from B to B. It's the G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G scale starting on B, going to B, okay? And that's how all 7 modes work, okay? So what we do to cross over and to be able to use the minor pentatonic is when we finally get to E, the E Aeolian, we get that's the 6th scale, that's the relative minor, and if you notice the scale, excuse me, well, I'm terrible here. That you notice it has the pattern. If you study it, you look up a pattern of the Aeolian scale, it's got within it the minor pentatonic. Minor pentatonic notes are part of the Aeolian scale. And that's where we find our little wormhole to kind of cross over back and forth from minor to major. So that if we are playing a song in the key of E minor or G major, I can of course play the minor pentatonic on the 12th fret, okay, or I can play E Aeolian in the same spot. I just add the 2 extra notes that come from the major scale, E to E. Sorry. Yeah, so now I have a place now that I realize if I'm playing it, okay, I can play the minor pentatonic, or I can play Aeolian. Okay, and so that's where we're able to cross over from a major to a minor, is wherever the 6th is on any given key, okay? So that also means that if I'm playing in E minor, I can play G major. Or a Dorian. So that's what we do there. That's how we kind of are able to play both major and minor scales within one key, whether it's a G, whether you're referring to it as a G major or an E minor. Now, of course, you want to resolve on whatever, if the song is in a G kind of a... and I can play the major there, right, because it's G. Then I can play the E minor pentatonic because it's the relative minor. But what I want to do there is I always want to target my, if I'm playing with the G vamp, that everything's gravitating towards a G major, it's in the key of G major, then I make sure my soloing ends up that I resolve on a G note. If we're doing something in the relative minor, which is a minor, E minor, then I want to gravitate towards or resolve on the E. But I play the same scales, you see. So that's how you do it. So that's how you mix and match major and minors, is you find the wormhole that crosses over, which is your Aeolian, which is your relative minor, knowing that that is exactly encased within the Aeolian is the minor pentatonic. And so if I can use minor pentatonic here, that means all the patterns for the 5 positions of the minor pentatonic will work from that position. Here's 5th position. Second position. So that's the idea that I'm trying to get across. And you'll see in the next video that basically that's what I'm doing, is I'm just playing minor pentatonics from the key of E in the 12th position, 1st position, then 5th position, 4, 3, 2, 1, or I can go this way, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay, of minor pentatonic. If I'm going to use modes, then I can use from this template as G. Wow! Then I can go to A Dorian. And B Phrygian, C Lydian, D Mixolydian, and so forth. And you just use those patterns and realize they all connect together in order, in sequence. The 5 minor pentatonics are in sequence, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or backwards, 1, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay? But you keep that pattern and connections together, and within any key, and you'll be playing all over the neck in both minor pentatonic forms and in the modal forms. So hopefully that's helpful. Let me zoom in and just go over some of those scales again so you can see them. Okay. So here's the major, starting at G, okay? G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, okay? And then your Dorian is here, starting on A, Phrygian, and so on, okay? So that's how you would connect those, using either a G vamp or an E minor or E minor pentatonic or Aeolian. So that's how it works. Look at the next video. Soloing techniques using a pedal tone, which is basically a pedal tone, just you're using an idea in the key of E minor. But again, G major works with it because it's the relative major of E minor. Okay. okay, and vice versa. They work hand in hand, and that's how you can cross over back and forth, round and round, you know, using minor pentatonic ideas, Aeolian ideas, Dorian, I mean, you mix and match them. But you have to set up your template knowing that if we're in a key, that if it's the key of G, then you got to start the G major scale here, and your Dorian's next, then Phrygian. So if we're doing the relative minor of G, it's E, so we'll come down to the 12th fret. And that's how you mix and match, okay? It's just knowing the key, knowing the 6th note away is the relative minor, using the minor pentatonic there, but that's also the place, exactly the same spot that you're going to be using the Aeolian that ends up there on 6, and then your diminished chord starts on the F sharp, and then you come back to G major. You get the idea, okay? So that's how it works. That's the theory behind mixing and matching. Look at the next video. You'll see some examples of me switching back and forth from minor pentatonic to the modes, okay? I hope this helps you in your quest to understand your neck and how it works and how you can mix and match major and minors. Thanks for watching edsguitarlessons.com. God bless you. Have a great day.